We're in negotiations right now. They're doing it along with Marco, JD. We have a number of people doing it. And the other side, I can tell you, they'd like to make a deal. Number 1, 2, and 3 is they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And we're talking about that. And I don't want to say in advance, but they've agreed they will never have a nuclear weapon. They've agreed to that.
That's the president touting negotiations with Iran, saying that the regime has agreed to his key demand. It will not develop and have a nuclear weapon. The U.S. and Iran are preparing for another round of negotiations, with Turkey, Egypt, and Pakistan taking the lead on efforts to broker a peace deal. This morning, the Pentagon announcing new defense deals aimed at ramping up U.S. munitions production, striking agreements with BAE Systems, Lockheed Martin, and Honeywell to boost missile and interceptor output. Meanwhile, plans reportedly underway to deploy troops to the Middle East from the 82nd Airborne Division this Friday, with the Rapid Response Unit reportedly expected to arrive Friday, along with the Marines. And, of course, Friday is President Trump's deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Joining me now is Michigan Congresswoman Lisa McClain. She's the chairman of the House Republican Conference. Mrs. Chairman, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. What are your thoughts on the status of this war, and are you going to support that Pentagon ask of $200 billion to fund the operation?
Well, first of all, yes, I'll support the ask. I'll see it, but as we stand right now, we have to support our troops. We have to support our men and women who are putting their lives in danger to keep Americans safe every day. So that's an easy one for me. I hope we don't get boots on the ground, but what I think President Trump is doing is peace through strength. And if there's anyone who can broker a deal, it's President Trump. Just look at what we're talking about right now. We're in the middle of peace talks. For 47 years, everyone says, oh, my goodness sakes, Iran can't have a nuclear weapon, and everyone tiptoed around it. This president is doing anything but tiptoeing around. Look at what he set out to do, destroy their military. 47 ships are at the bottom of the open ocean. Make sure that they don't have ballistic missile launchers. He pretty much decimated those. Just take a look at the number of missiles that are being launched, down dramatically. And third, make sure that they don't have a nuclear weapon. And if there's anybody that's going to get that done, I have full confidence that it's going to be President Trump.
Yeah, and the administration sent a 15-point plan to Iran. Yeah. And now Israel's Channel 12 is reporting that U.S. negotiators are working on a one-month ceasefire with Iran, during which the talks will be held on those 15 points. What else do you expect to happen to actually get the Strait of Hormuz open again? And it feels like this weekend is going to be, interesting, given that we're talking about the Marines and the 82nd Airborne troops going there to assist in opening the strait.
Yeah. Look, I'm finally proud to say some of our allies are actually helping out. I hope it doesn't get to boots on the ground. That is a big hope. But at the end of the day, we have got to make sure that we can have trade through the Strait of Hormuz. Take a look at what's happening. The world is coming together for the first time in a long, long time against the terrorist state of Iran. And that's a good thing, because if we want economic prosperity in that region, you had Jamie Dimon, on your program, we have to have stability in that region. And I think this is one of the biggest steps that we've seen in a long time, to have stability in that region.
For sure. Yeah. And House Budget Committee Chairman Jody Arrington is now in informal talks with Senate Budget Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham, we're told, about potentially using a second reconciliation bill to fund the Pentagon request. The $200 billion, the supplemental money for this conflict. I want to get your take on the reconciliation conversation. And you're also talking about potentially building legislation around new funding for immigration enforcement and potentially even the SAVE Act. What is the conversation right now about the reconciliation plans?
Yeah, all options are on the table. And listen, reconciliation is, as you know, is really a tool for the Senate to make sure that the Senate can pass a conservative agenda. I think all options are on the table. And if the Senate is going to put us in a box, we're going to do reconciliation. And Chairman Arrington is working on that. Remember, we have a one-seat margin, so it's going to be a really narrow needle to thread. But we've been able to do that in the past. I'm optimistic by nature. So, listen, I think everybody wants to do the right thing to keep Americans safe, and put more money in their wallets at the same time. So I'm optimistic that we can get this done.
But I know that in doing a reconciliation package, it's about budgetary items, right? So, I mean, to put the SAVE Act in a reconciliation plan doesn't appear to fit the bill, but I'm wondering if there are ways to do that, because your colleagues were with me yesterday, Andy Barr, for example, and he said when you're talking about giving money to states to secure their elections, or Joni Ernst said if you're actually paying for anything around elections, perhaps you could put that circle in a square. Listen to what they said. I want to get your reaction. Watch.
Yeah.
We do need to use the tool of reconciliation for all of these issues, I think. I think we do have the makings of a potential deal to fund partial DHS. But, Maria, this is...
But you can't put the Save America Act into the reconciliation plan, can
you would have to recast it. You would have to change it and make it into a budgetary issue.
How do you do that?
Well, it would obviously relate to funding of states to implement the provisions.
Oh, okay.
So
maybe there is a way.
I think there's potential ways to get creative with it, and if there is a way, we should pursue the Save America Act. But we need to put the Democrats on record.
Is there an argument to be made that if you're going to be giving, you'll be giving money to states to institute secure elections, maybe it becomes a budget item? What do you think?
That is an interesting take on it. And if you hear part of the argument coming from the Democrats as well is, oh, people can't afford to go through the process and get these IDs, blah, blah, all the same old excuses. Well, what if the federal government was to fund a voter ID for them, a government issued ID? So there's a number of ways that we could be creative with this, and I'm willing to explore those opportunities because I think this is that important.
Congressman, what can you tell us?
Yeah, I agree with both of my colleagues on that. We have to figure out a way to get the Save America Act through the Senate. We know the Democrats don't want voter ID. They want illegals to vote, right? Hakeem Jeffries said that himself. Don't put ICE agents at the polling stations. Well, why would we put ICE agents at the polling stations, Hakeem? You illegals don't vote, right? I mean, it's just complete hypocrisy. What Republicans are trying to do with the Save America Act is we will explore every option on the table to put this in reconciliation, because we know we're not going to get any Dems to come our way. This is an 80% issue for the American people. So we're going to figure out a way to get to yes, as opposed to why we can't do it. We're going to explore every option on the table of how to do it.
All right, Congresswoman, we're going to be watching your work on that one. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Good to see you.